Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all checking out the show, man. Absolutely enjoyed this conversation with our next guest. Grant Reacts, available on all platforms. If you're not following him, don't know what y'all doing. We talked about content creation, how he fell in love with the Canes, what it was like growing up in Arkansas. Great conversation, man. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Remember, what's your Cane story? Appreciate y'all, man. Hit that like, subscribe right there down at the bottom. Ahí está. All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Go Canes.
Oye tú, yeah you, in the green and orange. What's your Kane story?
And we're on. All right. I just gave my guy Grant the intro. You know what I'm saying? He'll see it in post because it'll just be a recap of everything we talked about. Grant, man, look, first of all, welcome to the show, man. I feel like I already know you because I always watch your content. I was like, yo, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so how, like, when you talk to people on social media, right? Like, because I'm assuming they go about it the same way. Like, yo, I already know Grant. Like, I know his stance on this and his take on this. How do you approach that as Grant reacts on all platforms, man?
My content strategy since I started YouTube is I want to talk to people like we're homeboys. You know, I grew up in a barbershop culture, you know,
Yep.
and that used to be some of the funnest times as a kid, like watching
Mhm.
grown-ups debate, you know, while I'm waiting to
Mhm.
get a haircut. So I've always said, like, I want to know, I want to be knowledgeable about what I talk about, but I want to talk to you like I'm talking to one of my homeboys. And anybody
Mhm.
who does content, you know, it once you hit record, it's kind of tough to do that, but that's what I've always strived to do. That's what I've always wanted to do is, you know, I don't want to be an analyst or this or that. I want to be the homeboy.
Yep. Yeah, like we were talking offline when we watch other people do content. It's like, oh, we could try this. It's like if we're not genuine, you know what I mean, and staying true to ourselves, it comes off a way, right? Like it's one of the mantras, one of the mission statements that you heard, right? Was like, yo, man, like we're gonna talk about these things. We ain't gonna plan. We ain't gonna tell you what we're gonna talk. There's no script. We're just gonna go. We're gonna give you a raw, honest opinion, and it comes off that way. Agree with it or don't agree with it. And I've always felt like that's a more honest way to do it. Like I remember, speaking of barbershop, you bring this up. I had a barber once. Shout out to him, man. He probably watches this. He was like, "Nah, man, you got to argue more." I was like, "Man, but like I don't. They already do that on so many other platforms, where it's genuine or not. You know what I mean? It's like I don't. I'm not going to argue for the sake of art, or like just to argue. Like that's not a fun experience. First take is already done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I could only be myself. It's like, nah, man, but you got to figure it out. Like that's where everything's headed. It was like, man, if that's where everything's headed, I'm gonna go left. Like I don't that's a crowded ass highway that way. Like
Right.
I've been, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to merge onto that with semis. Like I'm good over here. I'll figure out my own pace. Like how do you figure out that way, man? Because you've been doing this so long. How do you figure it out?
Well, I always something I've started to do is use Chat GPT.
Yep.
And how I've used Chat GPT is I'll say something like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing. I I have content. I have content creator brain, which means I always think I need to change something.
Yes.
So
Oh,
so
preaching to the choir, bro.
so
Preaching to
it
the choir.
so Chat GPT, how it has helped me is giving me somebody to brainstorm with because I'm a one man operation.
Mm-hmm.
So like you know, you and your guys, you may say, "Hey guys, what if we change the thumbnail to this, or what if we started this new segment where we interview people?"
Mm-hmm.
I like to ask ChatGPT like, "Hey, what if I started talking about this or that or this or that?" And it'll give me something to brainstorm. So that's something that I've started to use, or I may ask it, "What two colors or what font do people click on a lot?" You know, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's the way you can use ChatGPT, but I just try to do it the most authentic way because I feel like if you say, "Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to find an argument every time I make a video."
Yep.
I feel like you're forcing it, and people can always tell when you're forcing it. And if you're not truly being yourself, you can get exposed.
Yep.
And I'm like, look, you know, I can't never get exposed because I've always been myself. I've
Yep.
always said what I thought. And I try not to say nothing that I don't truly feel. If Miami gets a transfer in, I'm not going to say he's good unless I really think he's good. You know, now I'm not going to dog him out or nothing, but I'm not going to just say something to say it. I'm saying it for a reason. It's because I believe in it. If somebody questioned me, I can answer that question. But I've really, as crazy as it sounds, I've just really just tried to be myself. And I feel like if you be yourself, then it makes things easier. You can never be exposed and you can't be copied.
Yeah, you can't, because there can't nobody be you. Right? There's no other Grant. There's only one you. You have your own opinions, and the way you look at it, that's 100% right. All right, man. Obviously, with what's your Kane story, this is we talk to people across the country and figure it all out. Like when was it that you fell in love with the Canes, man? Like how old were you? Who was the player? Just walk me through the entire birth of falling in love with these Canes, man.
Man, I would say
let's take it back. Let's take it back.
Hey, let's take it back. Take it back. Okay. First of all, I'm from Arkansas.
Okay.
So in Arkansas, there's no Miami Hurricane fans. There's no Miami Hurricane fans. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's others, but actually I've seen people they be like, "Oh, you from Arkansas? I'm from Arkansas too." Or this one guy, he had like A-State Cane, so I know he went to A-State, which is Arkansas State. But anyway, when I was younger, I was a big wrestling and basketball fan. I started off as a wrestling junkie, like carried my little action figures everywhere. I had the little ring rope. When we went on road trips, I used to just play with my action figures. Well, my stepdad, he got me into watching football, and he was like, "Hey man, you know, you need a team." Well, in wrestling, I always like the villains. So like NWO, DX, I'm always rooting for the villains. And to this day, I'm always rooting for the villains. And I was like, who's the bad guy? Who are the villains of, you know, of college football? He's like, Miami Hurricanes, you know, they're the bad boys, you know. So we sit down and watch them, and I'm super young, so it's not like I'm not watching it how I watch football now. You know, I may, you know, this ain't even when it has like we can watch any game we want to right now. Back then, if you didn't watch it then, you had to watch it on Sports Center and stuff. So that's when I started to like them. And then I read the book called Kane Mutiny. One time I got ISS, I read Kane Mutiny, started to really learn about the history of it. And there was nobody around me. Once I started playing football, there was a lot of my friends, they didn't want to talk about Miami Hurricane football. You know, they would from time to time, but they didn't want to. So then I jumped on the internet, and that's how all this got started. The first memory I really have is Miami versus Florida State and seeing Sean Taylor in the rain, him doing this. I was like, he had the tape on him, he had the visor, and I thought he was the coolest man on earth, man. I went to my because you can see I wear glasses. So what I tried to do is when I saw Sean Taylor, I tried to get a prescription visor. I was like, look, I can't, I was telling my mom, like, look, I need a visor so I can see better when we play football. My eye doctor was like, they don't make those, son.
They don't make
so I couldn't get the visor like Sean T, but yeah, man. And then I got on the internet, and that's how everything started.
Sean Taylor at Florida State game in 01? Or
I don't know the exact year. I remember it was raining. He caught an interception that game, knocked somebody out that game. I just remember
that was at Miami game then. That was he knocked people out at the Miami. That was at the Miami.
It was like a superhero to me, you know, because I was young too. So I'm watching this kid, and then just keeping up with him. And I remember the draft. I was so sad because Ken Dorsey, I'm like, I didn't understand. This team just won a national championship, or they ended up losing it that year to Ohio State. But Ken Dorsey, I'm like, why ain't he getting drafted? You know, because I'm
Yeah.
like, we should have beat Ohio State. He was the best quarterback, so I assumed he was going to be. And, you know, he didn't get drafted till late to the 49ers, or he signed as a free agent to the 49ers, one of the two. I remember I was sad for my boy Ken, but
Sean, I was like telling this Sean Taylor story anytime it comes up. I lived in Hawaii at the time when he destroyed Brian Mormon in the Pro Bowl. In the Pro Bowl, I got to see that live. I've never.
You were there.
I was there. I was in Aloha Stadium. Yeah, fam, I've never seen. I've watched football. I've never seen, like, you know, when you see a car accident, like when you like, yo, you see it, like, oh, they're about. And I saw it. I was like, Sean, don't do it. I remember vividly thinking, I was like, Sean, this is for fun. And I see him take that beeline. I was like, oh my, I've never seen a more, like, it was like slow motion. Like there was music playing in my mind. You know what I mean? Like I was like, no, Sean. Like, and he just destroyed that poor old man.
I was watching it the other day, and what's crazy is that, and I never noticed this, but I was watching it. The punter, he got knocked out, but he got back up and he dapped up Sean. He dapped up Sean before
like
before I was like, you know, that's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Sean knocked that boy out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He was there. I've never heard of anybody say that they were there, you know, besides the players.
Yeah. So that week we worked with the NFL, like doing some kind of like gift packages and stuff like that. And they gave us free tickets to the game. It's the only crazy thing. It was the only Pro Bowl I ever went to. I was there for like 5 years. It's the only Pro Bowl I ever went to. For some reason, because like we could have gone free tickets for the, you know what I'm saying, for the military and all that stuff. But that's the only one. I was like, I'm never gonna have a memory like that again. And after that, I think that was I might be doing the times wrong, but I think that was the year, a couple months later, that, you know what I'm saying, he lost his life, if I remember around that time. So I was like, you know, I was like, I have that moment forever. And I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. Yeah. I also
R.I.P. Sean Taylor, man.
R.I.P. Sean, protecting his family, man. Like incredible, yo. Like, damn, I can't believe it. I still can't believe ST's gone, man. What moment, going into this King's content life, right? What moment made you start with like, hey, I gotta talk about these Kings, man. Like, I wanna hit record on this camera, get these mics, because the process is the process, right? Like, you try the first mic might be your phone, you know what I mean? Like, and then you learn, okay, that was the phone. Like, and then you learn like all this stuff. Like, if you go back to episode 1 of this show, I didn't have internet. Like, my shit was pixelated all the time. Like, it was bad, because the name Benny Boondock is because I live in the boondocks. Like, I live on 6 acres in the middle of nowhere. So like, we just got good internet. Like, things are looking up in that, trending up in that direction. But when you first started doing this, man, like, what was it was like, yo, man, I want to start doing this. I want to start creating content about the Canes and everything else you do.
One, like I said, there was nobody around who would talk to me about it. Especially, this was when Miami wasn't good. So, you know, when I was in junior high and high school, you know, Miami was respectable, right? They was respectable. Yeah. But by the time you get to college and stuff, they weren't doing good. So nobody wanted to talk about them. They weren't even on the highlights and stuff, you know, until, you know, they'd win a couple games, then start losing. So that wanting to meet other Miami Hurricane fans, and I gotta give a shout out to All About the U83. All About the U83. He was the first person I watched on YouTube. And after every game, I would go and he would just be going off. He would have the cigar and the something to drink, man. And I always try to show him love, man, because he'd be
on his back porch, right? He'd be on his back
porch. And
shout out to him.
And when I go back to talk about being your authentic self, he was like being himself. Like, I really didn't think he was faking. I didn't think he was trying to put on a anchor voice or anything. And I was like, after every game, I would go and I would listen to his upload, and I thought that was so dope. And then one day I just started to hit record and do the same thing. I think it was and I don't mean this in a bad way, like, oh, since he do it, I can do it. It was more of, I see what this man is doing, and I think it's so dope that I would like to put my opinion into the world,
Right.
And then I just kept going.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to, when I was younger, I used to say that I want to be on TV. I used to say, like, I want to be on TV. I wanted to be on the real world. I was like, I think I have the personality to be on TV. And when I went to college, I started out going into journalism, got caught up in the party life. You know what I'm saying? Undisciplined party life.
Yeah.
But YouTube was a way I was like, well, I didn't upload my first video thinking it's something that I want to do the rest of my life, but I was like, this is a way to get my opinion out. This is a way for me to connect with more Miami Hurricane fans. And I've always wanted to be in front of a camera in some way.
Yeah, no doubt. When you all about you, man, that's one of my like first memories with that stuff. All about the U83. Like before we even started this, I had other shows that I did, figuring all that stuff out, spending hours on it, and then eventually came to this. It was just like I actually stayed away from it from so long because I was like, man, so many other people are doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not thinking that way where I was like, hey man, but I could bring something different. Like I would watch other stuff and I'd be like, and I'd be talking back to the TV like, nah, man, you got to think about it this way.
Yeah.
And then I was telling you, and I've told the story every time, like Joe, my co-host, co-founder, made some post. I wish I had a screenshot of it. And it wasn't anything like, yo, man, this is like, it was just like a random take about something. And I was like, yo, man, like, I think we should, I literally hit him up. I never talked to him before. I was like, yo, man, I think we should start a show. And then like a week later we were in it. And then it's just like, man, when you get into it and you start engaging with the fans and people are having, different takes or agreeing with you and stuff like that. What's one of the things you once you started seeing other fans and talking to other Canes fans, what was something that like other people wouldn't understand being a Cane? I mean, because this Cane life is different. This Cane life is different than other fan bases. Like it's you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Let's just keep it a buck how we always do. Like, because being a Cane when it was bad, being a Cane when it was now, like it's two different worlds. Like this, we're coming off a natty run.
I often wonder because I would say they don't understand the agony of having such a rich tradition.
Yeah,
you're talking about some of the best players.
Yep.
Championships, 5 championships. Seeing that as a kid and then all that getting snatched away, and you're just losing for about a couple decades. There are fan bases who's never had a championship. They ain't never been.
Is that better? Is that better? Is that old question, right? It's like it's better to have loved and lost, never to have loved at all. But it's like we knew love, like we saw greatness, and then we lost it, and then we get the internet, and they're like, oh shit, look, we still suck, and they're like, now we don't. It was like, is it better to have been, I don't know, like before this year, Indiana? You know what I mean? Like,
nah.
100 years of losing.
I think it's better to have had the rich tradition. And look, I high school, college, part of adulthood, we haven't been where we want to be. Yep. Those were tough times, but all those tough times.
Yeah.
And then I got to go and see Mark Fletcher take it like 40 yards to set up the Malachi Tony touchdown in Texas A&M. All those emotions, just all those flashbacks. You just think of all of the horrible losses you've taken. And I don't think the as good as this playoff run was, it wouldn't feel as good if we hadn't had the horrible decades we've had. Yeah. And the run we went on just felt so good because, we haven't been good on the field, and off the field, people crack jokes about us on Twitter and stuff. And that's another thing when you ask the question, what about this? this Miami fan base loves Miami. And people can say, oh, y'all are bandwagon, oh, y'all hold on to the past. But hey, for us to show up and be as loud as we are after losing, that's love right there. And I said, I'm glad that I got on the internet because I know other people who going through it with me, right? So it's pretty cool to build those connections. So
man, this playoff run was so like cathartic. You know what I mean? Like there was not like go back to let's run it back. Let's go back to the A&M game. Malachi Tony fumbles the ball. We're like, well, fuck, we've seen this before.
What?
All right. This is another heartbreaking loss and another one on that chapter. And then the team responds. We're like, okay, Fletch does his run. They give it back to Malachi Tony. I always go like, it's a moment that always damn near makes me. When Mark Fletcher goes over to Malachi Tony after that fumble, that moment was what was missing for so many years. Because it was, no disrespect to those former teams, we didn't have that level of leader, right, in Mark Fletcher. Like, to that level to be like, hey, man, you good. We got you. To pick he's balling, thinking he just cost his team everything. And he picks him up, and then he responds like that.
Well, I'll say this too. Something that plays a big part in that is now you can kind of see why people are so adamant about Miami getting South Florida players because the connection between those two went back to high school.
Yeah.
So it was like not only was Mark Fletcher being a leader, you had two South Florida kids, two South Florida players who had a similar situation happen in high school, and he said, "Look, I got you."
Dane did it to him.
Right. Yeah. So it meant, I bet you Malachi, it meant a world to him that anybody with that said something, but then I think it meant just a little bit extra when Mark said it to him, right?
Yeah. Whew. Then you have that. And then Ohio State.
Boy.
But but listen, man, like that to me, that was slaying every dragon of the last 20 years. Like that was all the shit, everything handled in that. That Keontae Scott pick is embedded in my mind for the rest of my life. Like that was otherworldly, yo. And you got to be there for that one too.
Brother, it was amazing. And look, I know people are on this trip about they don't want to go to the neutral site games, but at the Texas A&M game was awesome. But being there in a neutral site game and then Keontae picking the ball out and you just hear a roar of Miami, and we're just watching this. I'm like going crazy. And you just look at the Ohio State fans just quiet. It was such a beautiful thing. And it was going up 14-0. I'm like, we really about to do this. We really about to do this. Yeah. And boy, it was a great feeling, man.
When you're on the flight back, man, and you realize that we hadn't won a bowl game in over a decade, that we had just won back because the A&M game counts as a bowl game, right? Playoffs. So we had just won back-to-back bowl games, and then Ole Miss 3 straight bowl games. So it's like, and we hadn't done something in 15 years. We just stacked up 3 and have a chance at a natty at home. Like, you ever just sit back, like when it all got quiet, you know what I'm saying? You at the house after the Indiana game, and you're just sitting there like, yo, this was insane. Like, to go through this after for so long of not feeling or knowing what this was.
I think soon as it was over with, I don't want to do like the whole, we won by making the playoffs, because we didn't win the championship. That's the ultimate goal. Winning the championship is the ultimate goal. But I won't let anybody say anything to me about the playoff run. People on the internet, well, you didn't win the championship, it don't mean nothing. No, player. Because there was so many times we've seen Miami get down and just give up. Texas A&M, what happened? They the fumble, like you said,
Yep.
them boys fought back and fought to the
Yep.
end. The next game, Keontae Scott get the 14. Remember, Mark Fletcher fumbled early in that game.
Yep.
Ohio State tried to make a pushback, but Miami kept coming back and fighting.
Mhm.
Then the Ole Miss game, and then woulda, coulda, shoulda with the Indiana game. But the way that this team persevered from losing to Louisville to making the run at the end to getting into the playoffs and making a run, proving a lot of people wrong. Can't nobody make me feel sad or horrible about what this team did, because I believe what they did should be commended.
No, absolutely. Yeah, can't nobody tell me shit. Like, can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't say nothing to me, dog. Can't say nothing. Don't talk to me if you're in Tallahassee or Gainesville. Mute
that's
up.
what I'm saying. And I'm like, yeah, look, Benny, I troll with the best of them.
Yes, you do. Fantastically, I might add.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chef's kiss, sir.
But I'm a respectful troll.
Yes.
You will not see me making fun of Notre Dame for losing to Ohio State in the national championship while Miami was at home.
Yep.
Matter of, I don't even say nothing to them. I just go on to troll somebody else.
Yep. Ain't nothing to say. Yeah.
I just think it's weird when they come at you with the you didn't win a national and the worst is the you didn't win the ACC championship. I'm like, now y'all just going out sad, because you know dang well, and I'm talking about the schools that didn't even make a bowl game.
Nope.
Firing their coaches, about
Absolutely.
to fire another coach, and you got the nerve to even say the word championship when your team ain't nowhere near it. I'm like, come on, guys. I know we like to troll, but let's have some respect,
decency,
in this trolling game.
Yeah,
man.
have some decency in this trolling.
Exactly. We're losing recipes in the trolling game now because they just trolling silly stuff. Oh, you didn't win the championship, but you lost in the last second throw. What?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Their season ended in September, and they're talking about us. Like, come on, man.
Like you said, Benny, let's have some decency.
Have some decency, man. It's just like, how you $400 million in debt and talk about us? Mute up.
Come on, have some decency. Y'all got to go talk to somebody else. That's what I would do. I'm like, I need to get my trolling on. Let me go talk to another school. You know?
Exactly. I ain't got nothing to say to y'all, man. 2025 is over with. The season is done, wrapped up. We've moved over. We're a couple weeks away. By the time this airs, we'll be a couple weeks away from spring. What's your biggest hot take going into the season, man? Like, going into spring, going into the season.
Going into the season.
Because look, that crazy shit is like, it's different this time around as opposed to the last 3 years, because there's no spring portal. Because this team is the team. That's it.
Right.
You know, we'll add a couple pieces here. Like, we just added a cornerback, 6'3", 6'4", 180, which is crazy. That's we just picked that up on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you want to go? You 6'4", almost 200. Come on.
Yeah, come on over here, man. We'll see what we can do with you.
We'll figure it out. What's your take, man? How you feeling? Like, you rolling into it with like momentum from last year? 26 is a different year. Wherever you want to take it.
I don't know if I have a hot take, but I'll say this: pressure is on Alex Mirabal and Mario Cristobal, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Why.
I'm listening.
If you listen to the You Heard podcast, which you should, very good podcast, great host,
Thank you.
consistency, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get passion. You're going to get knowledge. You're going to get the fellas talking ball. If you listen to Grant Reacts Canes, listen. We have talked about how the offensive line is a good offensive line. We've talked about it. Well, now we have a situation where 4 of those guys are gone. You got one guy who in Samson Okunlola who played a lot of snaps. You're basically replacing that whole offensive line. Okay. And during the transfer portal, you went out and got 2 guys, but you really didn't, as far as I know, because we really don't know what went on behind the scenes. But I really didn't see them like when we had to replace the DBs. Oh, we got
they went
this
crazy.
corner, that corner, this corner, that corner. We really didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, okay, y'all must be comfortable with what you have in house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested. I think there's a lot of pressure on Miami's offensive line, Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal, because that's what you're known for. And we want to see the development of Cantwell, of Irvin, of Ryan Rodriguez, of all these guys that are coming in and that have been into the program.
Yep.
So, so my question going into spring and into next year is, what is this offensive line going to look like? Because if the offensive line isn't up to par, we'll find out very quickly. Yeah. Because we got weapons everywhere else.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be, if this offensive line isn't serviceable, Dawson, can you get your offense set up to work around it? So I actually think, now when I say pressure, I don't mean we're going to fire anybody. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, I feel like the reputation, you may say, man, we thought y'all were the developers and the offensive line knowers. Like, how could it be if it's horrific?
Yeah.
I think it takes a step back because the guys they're replacing were good. One of those guys are going to be top 3 overall, most likely.
Yeah.
Right.
CC,
so,
yeah. Facts. Yeah.
So I just think people will be looking at Mirabal and Mario Cristobal because the offensive line is what they're known for. Let's see how the development goes and you putting those guys in the right spot.
Yeah, I think to piggyback, I think it's the pressure of expectation, right? Because like this is the bar you set. This is what you've shown me for 4 years. If this shit drops off, you start to have those, you know what I'm saying, those whispers like, hey man, like y'all didn't go after nobody and this is what y'all putting on the field.
Right.
But there's what they've done, right? Because we don't know. We don't have that data yet. I know we got Matthew McCoy too, by the way, has a lot of experience. That might be the left side, depending on how they arrange it. With Samson and Matthew, however they want to do it. But it's like you go with that, and it's like, all right, man, like cool. But every year they've gotten like 7 linemen. You know what I mean? Like they figure out one of them got a hit. Like one of them 7. You know what I'm saying? Every year. So that's 4 years. Yeah, a couple guys left. Plaz left. Other guy left. And they both went to SEC programs. Wish them the best. Like why I don't have those questions is because I believe people are psychopaths in that building, and I think Mario hires other psychopaths. That's why like you have to have like-minded people. But like if Cantwell doesn't hit, right? But Cantwell, like I'll have like inner conversations with myself, like, all right, if Cantwell doesn't hit, well, Cantwell's been here since like mid-December already. He's been there 2 months. Already a freak of nature. Parents are both Olympians. All right, they got the guy from Georgia that might be the right guard. They got the Klein transfer, but they still have Ryan Rodriguez that's been there 7 years. I honestly didn't know he still had eligibility left. I thought it was over. Like I don't know when he got a waiver or how that happened, but yeah, like it's because of. And you're right though, it's the pressure of expectation. Like man, like I had Alnez Cooper and CC for 4 years.
Right.
That right side I didn't have to worry about. That's a whole new right side. Okay. Let's see how that works out. They didn't go after a center. So I was like, is Rodriguez the guy? Does Max Buchanan jump?
What does SJ do?
What does SJ do? Does he become kind of like that, stay in that role where he becomes that lead blocker, which I love because he's athletic as shit. You know what I mean? He can figure that out. But I'm a big Max Buchanan guy because I believe most grown men with mullets are something to deal with. And if you have a mullet, you know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like an offensive lineman with the mullet. It's kind of like a linebacker with a neck roll. You know, the boys, they gotta be real.
Exactly. They're about that action, and they got multiple mullets in that offensive line now. Like somebody's got to win it, and I liked that they didn't go heavy on the portal because it's like now you're banking on yourself, and you pay these guys a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like if you believe in your development and know somebody, one of my sleepers in that room is Jaden Wilkerson. I don't know if that guy's like 6'6", 330. I've stood next to him Grant, I'm 6'2", 6'2.5", 350. Fam, he makes me look like a child. Like I stood next to him, and I'm like, how is this? I weigh more than you, sir. Like, how is this possible that I look like a baby? And you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
that O-line is stacked, and I love the competition because somebody's gonna win.
Well,
and you have 30 other bodies.
And I do want to say this. I have full confidence in Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal. I think they're going to do it right. You know, I just think if it does go south, people will look at them a little something. But what I will say is what they've done a great job is Alex Mirabal does a great job of cross-training. So, you know, you got guys who you may say is this position or that position. Well, they learn them both. So I think that's important. Another thing that Mario does a good job, nobody ever talks about, nobody gives them credit for, is he rotates them in younger, you know, kind of like Pancake. You know, you get a little bit, and the more you show them that you can be that guy, the more you get. But they're still putting you out in the fire, you know. So I think because of those reasons, because they know what it looks like, they know how to develop, they know how to train, it is going to be good. Another thing is, you mentioned Cantwell, you mentioned the young guys, Joel Irvin, all them. Some of them were here during the playoff push, so they got the to go up against some of our guys. Now, maybe Ruben Bain and Mesidor, maybe they were a little injured, so they didn't get to go full speed. But guys like Scroggins and things like that, they, you know,
Lightfoot,
those are some good guys, to go toe to toe with and to learn. So I do think they will get this fixed. I do think this is going to be a great offense. But if it is not, people are going to look at that offensive line, and I think that's going to be the biggest question. That's going to be what everybody's looking at, and especially because it's what you're known for, right?
Yeah.
You know, when the DBs weren't that great, okay, DBs aren't that great, go get a new one. But if the O-line isn't that great, they're going to say that is what you're known for. We'll see how it plays out. I got faith in them, but I've always gone with, I gotta see it. You know, I want to see it. You know, it's talking season. I can say they're going to do it, but we want to see it. You know.
Yeah, it's all talking now.
Everybody was talking about Malachi Tony. I said, okay. I said, you know, I've seen him in high school, but I want to see him under the bright lights. And then I watched the Notre Dame game, and I was like, oh my God,
you're right.
The real deal.
Yeah, that whole offseason, I was the same way. I was like, I've heard all this offseason talk from, I'm saying, the people who cover it down there. Shout out to them. I was like, I've heard all this. Like, oh man, he's the greatest. All right, man. And I saw Malachi Tony. Me and CB saw Malachi Tony in the Heritage game on their state run. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, he's good. And when Diabell got hurt and he took over the second half, I was all right. That's pretty insane because he missed that first half with a suspension. I was like, that's pretty insane. But I still didn't think, like, I had some data, and I still did. People were telling me, I was like, he's 17. Like, I don't know. I can't understand how him walking in can become that. Then Notre Dame happened. I was all right, man. Y'all were right. My fault. Y'all were right about this one because it's a little more cold, boy.
Hey, it's something I ain't seen before, right? It's something. It's unbelievable, and it's amazing because we've seen guys that could have been Miami Hurricanes. They go elsewhere, and they do those type of things. But now we got one of the best players in college football. And I've always said this. I thought something that Miami had been missing for the last couple years since we've been losing is a player that keeps a defensive coordinator up all night.
Yeah, we
got that player in Malachi Tony. So,
yeah. If offensive line is your biggest question, what are you most confident about going into 26?
What am I most confident about?
Yeah.
The running back room.
Yeah.
The running back room. Well, I guess, you know, if the offensive line isn't good, then
the running back room.
You know, that's going to be a trickle down effect. But I just believe that this running back room, you have a running back in Mark Fletcher that, I mean, what can you say about this man? This man went up against the best Texas A&M, they got one of the best SEC defenses. Mark Fletcher did his thing. Ohio State, they got 5 first-round draft picks on that defense. Mark Fletcher did his thing. Ole Miss in Indiana. So Mark Fletcher, he's going to be one of the best running backs. But then you get Pringle, who gets to come back, and I'm assuming he's going to take a big jump. Like, I think we've seen how good Mark can be. I think he's going to repeat that and maybe take a little bit of a jump. I think Pringle, we've only seen a little bit, and he could take a huge jump. And then Marty Brown, the kid is really good to me, from blocking, from catching, from running. And then we got a guy in Jordan Lyle who was supposed to be the starter last year. He was the starter last year. He was the starter last year. And so can we get that untapped potential? When I look at that room, I just think if there's one room that I'm not even really worried about, it's the running back room.
Yeah, running back. For me, it's the DB room. I think that DB room is insane, yo. Like the fact that you could go Damari Brown as like the 4th DB, and you know what I mean? Like if you go Lucas OJ, crash out, kid that transferred from Boston College, and Omar Thornton, and then you get to like Damari Brown injuries or whatever, and then you can still Ethan O'Connor, Jabari Antoine, Seatbelt. You know what I mean? Like you go down the line, and that's not even getting to like the safeties of Bryce Fitzgerald, Poyser, Dylan Day, JJ Dunnigan. You know what I mean? Like all these players is like that. For me, that secondary is insane. How bad it was 2 years ago to the bodies and monsters that we have in that room now, and the options that we have in that room. Like if Jabari Antoine like gets snaps, like he's way ahead, because there's serious competition in that side. Like that's not easy to get on there. And he came in cold for the Ole Miss game and did a hell of a job.
Well, and I think that's the thing about the playoff push. You know, you got freshmen who got to practice with some of our best guys, but then you also got guys like Jabari Antoine, who because of injury got thrown into fire, and he showed us flashes. My only thing is this, and I've been rewatching all the games because I've been doing cut-ups. Keontae Scott, man,
covered a lot.
He did a lot, and not just from passing and covering, from running, from shedding blocks, from getting after the quarterback. That is my biggest thing, is because if you don't have a good nickel, it'll show you right away. Now we can look at Bryce Fitzgerald. He came in that Pitt game and he did a good job, but
there was a difference.
When I watch Keontae Scott, I'm saying, and even when like you got to go back and watch it, because I was like, even though I watched it, I saw the pick six. I saw the pick six against Syracuse. I saw the hit in the Louisville game. I saw these highlights. But even when I go back and watch it, I'm saying, how is this man doing this? His size, you know, sealing off a oncoming offensive lineman to pull up a block. Him and Jacoby Thomas, one time in a Notre Dame game, it was like they knew the snap count and they just blew up I'm like, these aren't normal plays. And I don't know if you could just replace the Keontae Scott. So that would be my question with the DBs. I like the outside, and I like the safety. I'm just wondering who's going to play that nickel, and can they give us a little bit of Keontae?
Yeah, Keontae was. You know, and I say this every time. You know, Keontae Scott in the transfer portal was ranked at the same level as Donnie Hill. Yeah. I did a little documentary style thing on him, and I couldn't believe. I'm like, but
it goes to show you that sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it is athletic ability. But I think it's two big things that sometimes people don't factor is timing. You know, are you healthy? Are you, and then where are you at? Right. And I think one, Keontae, he was a dog.
Yeah.
Two, he stayed healthy most of the season. In 3, he was in a system where Heatherman trusted him. Remember, this time last year, we thought Brantley was going to be the nickel.
Yeah.
So that's also what I've been telling people too, is I'm like, we really don't know a lot just yet, because this time last year, Charles Brantley is who I said was going to be the nickel.
Yeah, he's who we heard. He's who we heard was the dog, and he never got a snap.
And
never
then
saw him.
We get Keontae Scott. I'm like, oh, this is a nice pickup. And then we watch him, and I say, this is a real deal pickup. So
best to be in the nation.
So I'll ask you, what happens at the nickel position? Since, you say you're for sure about it. What do you think? Mario calls Benny up. What should we do about losing Keontae, Benny?
I think it's Omar Thornton. I think it's gonna be just as the defensive line when you lose 2 first-round picks in edges. I think it's gonna be bodies, man. I don't think there's, you don't just replace a Keontae Scott just like you don't you know what I mean? When you lose somebody like that, you don't replace a Cam Ward. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't happen. You supplement it with other parts. That's why you have so many bodies, and somebody pushes it to become, maybe they all 3 players become Keontae Scott. You know what I mean? Like they all bring different packages or schemes or alertness to the table. But I would like to see, I've been saying this since the Rutgers game, Grant, I would love to see Damari Brown in that position. I think he's physical. I think he's nasty. Like, he's the only one, if you go back and watch that Rutgers game, as a freshman, mind you, he's the only one that tackled their running back.
Well, my thing is, he getting injured a lot on the outside. You put him on the inside.
But it might be one of those things where, like, timing meets up with, you know what I'm saying, expected. Like, if he's always injured on the outside, let's see if, like, the constant thing, like, toughens his body up and, like, it builds calluses. And, like, because he's physically, like, yes, I know he's, like, 6'2", I get all that, right? Like, he's a big corner. Right. But it's like, I would like to see him there because it's like, that's damn near an extra linebacker when you play you know what I'm saying, when you play running teams. And then you could throw in a Bryce in that position. You know what I'm saying, if you want that pick.
Damari, I think he was playing nickel his freshman year. It was Bethune-Cookman, but he straight knocked this dude out. Helmet went flying and everything.
Yeah.
I forgot he did play a little bit of nickel.
Yeah, because we had older guys and we needed somebody in that position. I think he could really, because he'll take rotational snaps on the outside, because that's Lucas and Fred and OJ, right? Like, let's just be honest. Let's just call that what that. I'm not saying they're Sharpied in, but it's a strong pen. You know what I mean? It's a very strong pen with Lucas and OJ. If he wants to be that third guy and have Omar Thornton supplement him, because now he's got to take that step, and hopefully it all lines up, because Keontae Scott had injuries, Jacoby Thomas had injuries, right? Like, he's the older guy, he's the oldest guy in that room, right? Because he came in the year, right? Yeah, like, as far as, because he came in the year before OJ.
O'Connor, he came in before OJ.
He's you know what I'm saying?
He the unk.
He the unk of the room. So it's just time to take it. That's what I would love to see. Now, me and Joe been talking about it. Some people are like, oh, no. That physical freak of a young man needs to be in that position, because that'll be. I was like, yo, man, like, we got 3-6-2 corners, 6'1" and above corners on the field. Like, how do you go? And then you put Bryce in there, and then you put a JJ Dunnigan in the back. Like, there's a lot you can do. Again, pieces we didn't have 2 years ago, where we're like rotating and finding the snaps. That's why like, I don't worry about it so much with that corner, because you have, off the top of my head, 3-4 guys that you could put into that position. Antoine can slide it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Like, we might not have seen his best on the outside. He might be better in the nickel. Like, who knows where he could thrive the most? Because year 2 under Heatherman, and Heatherman don't blink. He sees everything, evaluates them, and figures it out. So there's multiple guys that could. We don't know. That's the beautiful thing. We have no idea what these young men are working out. Camden Portis might fuck around. Like,
I do like Camden Portis. I do think he was brought in for a nickel position.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting, because when you watch Keontae Scott, it's just like it's wild. So that's the one thing I'm very interested to see how they do that, how they replace Keontae Scott, and then I'm really interested to see what does Corey Heatherman look like without Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor and Keontae Scott and Jacoby Thomas, right? He did a hell of a job last year, especially using the talent. So I'm excited to see what he does with some of the young pieces and how he supplements losing some of those guys with a lot of the younger guys that we got.
I'm gonna put you in Corey Heatherman's shoes right now, right? Snap one at Stanford, starters going onto the field. Who do you have as your starting defensive line? Yeah. Grant Heatherman in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I just did a Armando Blunt cut up. It depends on how good is Hayden Lowe in, because we haven't seen. I have not been at practice to see a Hayden Lowe, but for what people tell me, Hayden Lowe is the real deal. I think Damon Wilson, the Georgia transfer, he's going to be a starter. So that's one end. I like Marquise Lightfoot, but I also like him being a jack of all trades.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I would say if Hayden Lowe is what people say he is, let's go Damon Wilson with Hayden Lowe with Marquise Lightfoot, him and Marquise Lightfoot going back and forth. Justice got the interior, and then Ahmad Moten, of course, right? I think the interior is set, but Armando Blunt will rotate in. And then the Davis kid from Nebraska.
Keona Davis.
Yeah, Keona Davis. From what people have been saying, he's nice. So Damon Wilson. I'm going to go.
I know, right? Because it's the first four. Because it's not even, it's like the first four. Yeah, it's tough.
Right. It's tough because here's my thing. Hayden Lowe, people are saying he's great, but I haven't seen it.
You just don't know.
Because I don't know. Marquise Lightfoot, I've seen what he can do, but I'm wondering, could he be a starter, like play as many snaps as a Mesidor or as a Bain? Could he do that? I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna play like a Benzie and Bain though. I don't think, because
you think it's gonna be more rotation?
Wait, it has to be like because those guys were so proven, right? Like Benzie and Bain were like so proven. Where it's like, how do you take those guys off the field? I wish they would have rotated them more for these exact conversations where like we would have the knowledge that like, okay, this guy can't take it because we've seen it. It'd be nice to see so-and-so get more snaps. But then I think back, it was like, yo, Scroggins got snaps in that D-line. That was a packed room. Marquise Lightfoot got snaps. Sadly, yes, we lost Hayden Lowe early in the season, and he had to take the whole season off to recover. But like, I think it has to be more rotation, because I don't know, right? And we can't speak on it now, because Damon Wilson was dope at Missouri and Georgia, but it's like, what is he going to be here? Who takes that next step? Does Armando Blunt become that Bain-ish player? Because Armando Blunt is a monster in his own right? Still got snaps all the way back as a freshman. So it's like, I would like to have more data, but I also don't know. But so like, I think what happens is like through the season, you know what I'm saying, heavy rotation, playoffs, when we get there again, you shorten the bench a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it becomes a little different. Like you have the guys, all right, you got 12 games of data, maybe 13 if we're in Charlotte. It's like, okay, now we know who our guys are and find the pecking order. But that's just us thinking as fans. I'm assuming in that building, very different data. Like they have all the data, all the analysts. So it's like they know how it is. But like till we see it, like even spring, like we're not gonna know. You know what I mean? We're not gonna be like, oh, okay, now I know who's the best edge. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be different.
Well, one thing I'll say is we got talent, we got body types. That helps.
Yeah.
Two, we got a defensive coordinator. And I think one thing that Heatherman did a good job of is, when we had injuries or when we went up against certain teams, he used his talent in different ways. Like Armando Blunt, sometimes he was lined up as a nose guard, sometimes he was lined up at an end. You saw Marquise Lightfoot. Sometimes he was lined up at corner, jamming Jeremiah Smith, and then sometimes he's at linebacker, sometimes he's in a 3-point stance. So that's where I will give Heatherman a lot of credit, and the same thing with the DBs. I didn't realize until I, again, rewatched all the games, Xavier Lucas played some nickel last year, right? I was assuming he played he moved, Heatherman moved them a lot, due to who we're playing and due to the injury. So I do have confidence that Heatherman, because of what he did last year, he didn't just say, okay, we got Mezzi, we got Bain, we're just going to let you guys rotate. He said, no, we're going to put Armando Blunt in a position to succeed. We're going to put Marquise Lightfoot in a position to succeed. And I always like a coach who's willing to change up things, do with the talent that he has, rather than be like, this is my defense, this is how we're going to run it no matter what.
Yeah. I always prefer that somebody who can learn on the job and be in the moment. Like, all right, I got to make these adjustments. This was the plan here, but I can change it here. That's always a better way to coach for me. It's a better way to teach too. Where you're like, okay, my bad, I didn't put you in the right place to succeed. Let's change up the scheme and put you in a better place. Back to content, man. I have my questions here on the other screen. You know what I'm saying? Double screen life.
You good?
Double screen
life.
Let's
get into the content. I want to help the content creators out there. Come on.
Yeah. What's one underrated skill you think every content creator needs to build?
One underrated skill that you need to know what platform you're posting on. A lot of people think that they can post YouTube clips on, just take the YouTube clip and put it on TikTok. It don't work like that. You got to get the dimensions right. You got to make sure in TikTok they're scrolling quick, so the first couple words need to be something that's going to catch people's attention. Know what platform you're posting on. Know the rules to those platforms. Study the platforms, and you'll do good. And also get on TikTok. A lot of people I talk to, they say, I don't want to get on TikTok. I don't want to get on. Let me tell you, TikTok has changed the game. It has definitely helped me out financially. And I should have been on there faster, but I was like, I don't want to be a TikToker. I'm telling you, get on TikTok. I think more people are coming around now, but that was a misconception.
Yeah, it took us a while to get on TikTok. Because me and Joe are like, we're a little older. Like, hey, man, we just have it for the pod. We just have it for the pod. Like, just and just do it and embrace it and just cut the clips and get them out there. Yep. What's something you know now that you wish you knew when you started?
I wish I knew that consistency wins. When I got in and I found out you could make money, because at first I wasn't making money, then I found out you could make money. I started to, try to do this, try to do that. I've changed my name a couple times, and I just wished I knew that consistency will win in the end if you put in the work. It may not win quick and fast, because that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be quick and fast. But when you build that consistency, that's when you build that loyalty with your fan base. That's when they know you're the real deal. That's when they just feel like you're truly family. And a big mistake I made is I changed stuff too much instead of just staying consistent.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned just doing this so far is, like, if I change a template or a thumbnail, I won't change it. Like, I'll change it and then I'll keep it for a while. So, like, they'll know when they see it. Then I'll make small tweaks. Yeah, I'll change the font. I'll kind of keep the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, conversations with the AI. Like, how are ways for me to improve this?
Right.
What font looks better? What font doesn't? You know what I mean? Like, is this too distorted? You know what I mean? Like, things like that. I think one of the things I'll say is, like, not being afraid to fail and, like, just seeing what works. Like, I remember I looked at the thumbnail for episode 1 of You Heard. I was like, holy shit. Like, I can't believe it was, like, busy. It was a lot going on. The font was really small. It was like, as I've gone over, it was like, most of our fans that have grown with us, right, and that watch us from the beginning you got to think of it this way, are older. Their vision might not be as good. So if your font is at 8, you know what I'm saying, in that bottom corner, it's like, fam, they're not going to be able to read that. They're not going to know what you are. They're not going to be able to differentiate from that. So I'll ask you this, man. Who like outside of this Kane's content life, what podcasts, what shows, what creators inspire your style? And you're like, okay, this is something I could take from while still keeping your authenticity that we always talk about that is so crucial.
I'll say a guy named 3C Films. He does a movie, and one thing that he does that I really like to implement in the off season is he'll talk about what's going on in movies, and he'll put 3 small stories that can't make a full video into one. And so how that helps me is in the off season, like right now, there's not a lot of stories that you can talk 15, 20 minutes about. But if I can give 3 stories that can make a video, plus it's informing my audience that may not keep up with those small stories. So that has helped me out a lot. And then guys like Gary V, all the content guys, just post your content type of people. I would say them.
How I learned something about you last night. You thought you weren't gonna get away without doing it. I learned something about you last night that your ass don't sleep, G.
What? Oh, man.
You were ready last night around. You hit me about 10:45. I was like, hey man, I'm free now if you want to do it. It was 10:45. So what's your day like, man? We're like, yo, you are the clip god. If I could, by the time it hits publish on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, or YouTube TV or wherever you get your content, you have it up on your pages. Like, do you have 2 phones? What's the process like, man?
I got 3 iPads, I got 1 phone, and I got like a 3 display setup, and I move a lot of stuff around. But basically, I wake up, I try to get some type of exercise in, and like I'm tiptoeing through my house because I got a 2-year-old. Yeah. I'm getting as much work as I can done, and then I watch my daughter like in the morning while my wife works, and then when my wife gets off, I take I get to start doing my work. So it's like always, you know, whoever you are, whenever you're doing content, you got to do it when you're tired, because stuff is going to come up. Everything ain't going to be great. So I always say the best stuff, you do it when you're tired, man. Because if you say, oh, I'm going to wait till in the morning, it don't get done. It don't get done. And I just feel like, especially when it comes to Twitter, especially now that you get paid on Twitter, you know, it's a platform that I can post like 20 tweets or 20 clips, and they're going to hit Benny at a different time.
Yep.
Right. And plus, people aren't that invested in, okay, they look at the tweet and they go on. If you put out 20 10-minute YouTube videos, that's 10 minutes that people got to eventually get to. Right. Yep. Which is kind of tough for most people who have a life. So I'll say I just try to work hard, and, you know, I got a lot of goals. I have a 2-year-old, having a 2-year-old put a battery in my back that I'm like, I gotta grind even harder now, because I don't ever want her to look at me and ask me for something that I can't give. So anytime I don't feel like posting a video, making a thumbnail, or doing a clip or something like that, I always picture her saying, Daddy, can I have this? And me not being able to give it to her, honestly.
Yeah, that's otherworldly right there. When you have that, like I don't have kids, but I could just imagine like that battery was like, you were not doing it for yourself anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just doing, like, for me, like when I have an idea, I always have a notebook with me or my phone, you know what I'm saying? And I write it down, like, hey, this would be a dope one. Or I'll text it to the group chat. Let's talk about this. Let's figure it out this way. And then I'll sit there after my wife goes to bed, because I take my time. Like, I'll sit creating a thumbnail or figuring out the plan of like what, because I love this, right? Like I did a pod for a long time that nobody watched because I would be tinkering too much. You know what I mean? I did them on the same days. I was like, I changed the thumbnail, I might change the logo, and I did that. So for me, that's one of the things I like for people who do this is like stay consistent. Well, when you're going to post, make sure everything looks a certain way so people know what to look for when they're looking for you. Like I know for branding. You, like, that branding is everything. If you're going to, for you, it's like, I know if I go to Grant's page, gonna have all the videos in the world. There's gonna be something there. Like, I know in the off season now you're posting all the drafts of earlier players that we might have forgotten, might not have seen. Like, yo, that's dope. That's like Kane's history. You know what I'm saying? Like, you find different things to do it. And in the off season, this is why I wanted to start this. Is like, yo, like, there's people who do this Kane's content, from reporters, from fans, that have an incredible story to tell, man. And like I told you at the beginning, I felt like I already knew you. Right. And when you watch us, I want you to feel the same way. Like, when you see me in person, I'm gonna be exactly this way.
Right.
Like, there's not gonna be like, I'm not a persona. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't a facade here. Like, my bad takes are my bad takes, and my good takes are my good takes. Right. And my honesty is what you're always gonna get. Let me see, one last question. What's like, when you go back and watch, have you ever gone back to watch like the first video you posted and like critiqued it, and like, what are things you took from it and learned as you kept doing this?
I would say one of the things that helped me is I started before I was ready. I started before I knew about thumbnails, about this, about that. I just started. I was just like, let's go. Let me just put this video out there. And what that does is, it's an incredible journey that your audience goes on with you, because there's a lot of people out there, they'll say, "What's up, NMD?" And if you call me NMD, I know you a real, you know
from
hey,
day one. Yeah,
you a day one if you call me NMD. Yeah. And I think those little connections are cool. And I think when your audience, they say, okay, you know, when Benny when I first started watching him, he had all these crazy thumbnails. Now he got the thumbnail, one person on this side, one person on that side, the big font. You know, he got the nice microphone now with the logo. And people say, you know, Benny, I was there for you when you didn't have a microphone. You know, I think the audience really appreciates going through the journey with you. And it shows them that you're serious too. That's why I will tell people, like, hey, man, just start before you're ready. Start before you're ready and continue to get better, because your audience will see you. And when you do bring out a new backdrop, like I remember Kane's Insight, D-Money, he posted a video and he had that nice Kane's Insight sign.
Yeah, it's dope.
I was like, hey, that sign is tight. He ain't always had that, right? So it's like, continue to just start before you're ready, and then get better as you go. And as an audience member, they appreciate that, and they're going on a journey with you. And then you yourself, like you said, you can go back and watch. I have gone back and watched some of my old videos and been like, man, that's crazy. You know, I've come so far. And it's also good when you don't feel like you've made progress. Go back and look at your first video, and you can see a lot of things that you should be grateful for and thankful for that you did. And it does help you as a content, because you're always going to go that comparison and that I should do more. If all content creators go through that. Yeah,
absolutely. That, like, that FOMO on something you haven't experienced, which is crazy, because like you don't know the path that content creator took to get to where they're at. Only you are walking your path. Yeah, man, like, it's crazy. I love this, man. I love these conversations. You got anything you want to ask me? We'll chop it up before we get up out of here.
Let's see. What's the one thing you've learned since becoming a content creator? You know, what's the one thing you've learned
of that? Like, believing that your audience is gonna invest with you if you invest in them. Like, if they know no matter what, at 6:30 on a Wednesday and at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, we're gonna be there. We might not have much to talk about, right? But we're as soon as that intro's done, me and Joe just go. Right, we're gonna give it to you raw, honest, and real. If there's not much going on, like, oh man, what y'all want to talk about? Let's figure this out together. And the importance of font and thumbnails, as I've learned, right? Like, people don't realize. Like, again, I'll have conversations with AI and ChatGPT. Was like, hey, what's important about this? What's a good way to improve a channel? Because I'm talking to a computer. The computer would know algorithm to algorithm. You know what I mean? It was
right.
What's a way to figure this out? And just like creating that. And making small tweaks but never jarring ones. I learned that from the beginning, right? Like if you make adjustments, never like go completely different. And you know what I'm saying? Like never do that, because if my logo goes, it's changed 3 times. The beginning one couldn't use because of the U hands or whatever, and then like my keeping it a buck, like, and then my guy AB helps me out with a logo. Then I kept the same logo and just changed the U, right? Where like now it's the orange is the sunset and the green is the palm trees. Like still knowing what it is and not changing it too jarringly, but also with like sit there for hours sometimes when you have it and just create shit that nobody will ever see. Like just stay in that, like practicing in the habit of like, yo, I really like these fonts. To see how it looks with all these different ideas. If you decide to go that way, like just build that routine. Like I forget what book I read. I think it might have been like Steve Martin book, where like every morning he woke up, he just wrote. Right, like he would just write, like jokes, stories, movies, whatever. He would just write. Stay in that habit, like you work. Like I know you wake up and work out every morning, right? Like
Right.
building those habits also have to be in this, because right, wrong, or indifferent, you're competing with other people. You know what I'm saying? For their space and their time. So if they're gonna invest that time with you, make sure it's worthy of investment.
That's good. I agree with that, man. How do you balance? You're a content creator. How do you balance the want to change?
Oof. Brother, you're talking. That's a different, like, but I am a world-renowned tinkerer, right? Like,
Yeah.
I like to make little changes. I'm also like, I'll have an idea in my head, and because I host this, you know what I mean? Like I have a co-host, like a co-founder, so it's like I can't just do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have to like brainstorm with him. So I was like, I have like my mind is going 1,000 miles a minute. Where I'm like, yo man, let's do this. I'll see someone. Yo man, that's really dope. So it's like figuring out how to slow down and like approach the process logically, not just wanting to be first. Wanting, you know what I'm saying, wanted to change it just for that. Like it's not an easy thing. Like I could show you 1,000 thumbnails that never saw the light of day. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, where I just sit there and it's like, all right, like I'll see your stuff. I was like, I want to make sure it has our colors are similar, right? Green and orange. But it's like I never want to be like, oh, Grant did this, or Kane's this side did this, or Donald did this. I was like, I want to make my own lane, my own path, while still like honoring those and never feeling like it's competitive. But just dude, like I'm telling you, man, like when I have time and I have to, I tinker for the like, you know, when you got like the itch of like, are you wanting to do something? Like I just want to create it to see what it looks like.
Right.
I was like, all right, cool, it got done, but I'm not gonna do anything with this. But at least I created something because my brain was going in a direction. Like I've started messing with painting. You know what I mean? Like creating stuff physically, like on a canvas,
cool.
to try to see what that looks like. Because eventually the shelf, because I'm a tinkerer, eventually this shelf is probably be a little bit different. But just always wanting to do something, and that's how I'd be like, all right, cool, this is cool, but let's change it a little bit. You know, in like 6 months. Like we're in the process right now of changing our intro, right? That's a whole process that we'll have that ready for like the season. Okay. That's a whole process of it, because like I have a thought in my head, but like the thought isn't put down the way I want it, because I'm not a producer. I don't know how to do that shit. Like I don't know. Figuring it out that way. But yeah, man, like it's just, and I love creating. Like like my wife creates like my wife is creative. She does scrapbooks. She does like the physical creativity. I'm more of a digital person. Mm-hmm. Like I can't sit there and like glue stuff, and I'm not terrible. Like that's not my thing. So like I work to my strengths. But yeah, man, I love create. Like and I admire what you do, man. Like it's not easy. People don't understand how hard it is to like talk into a camera alone. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Right. Putting your thought. Like people just go out like, oh, Grant's been doing it the whole time. I know, because I know you have tons of videos that never made it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you're like, You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
people don't understand. People don't. But that's the repetition of it, right? Like you're getting your ideas out there, and they might be like, yeah, you know what? I might not post this one because you maybe went a little too far, or
Right.
however direction you went to. It was like, yes, this is me, but this isn't the version of me that I. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a little too much, but you still got it out. But
Right.
that's also creating and getting that space out. Like, how do you relate that to like content creators? Like, how do you have those conversations? Like, hey man, you don't have to post everything you say, but like make sure if you're gonna record at 8, right, or whatever time, and that's the time you set for yourself, like make sure you record those and get those 2 to 3 videos out that week and just build those reps, get those reps in basically.
Right.
Like how would you tell somebody to go about that, just that working? Because like once your child goes to sleep, I know you in the lab. You know what I mean? In the
Right.
morning, I know you in the lab. So like getting that work in, how do you approach it?
Well, one thing I've been trying to do is the goal of mine this year is I've been trying to learn to speak better. I've always had a like a stutter, and I still stutter sometimes, but I do want to work on being a better speaker. So I've been trying to. One of the things I've been trying to do is slow down because sometimes I just get to talking real fast, and then that's when I start stuttering and things like that. But it, like you said, it's about. I always tell people when it comes to people will say, is it quantity or quality?
Mm-hmm.
And in my humble opinion, I believe it's quantity until you know what good quality is.
Yes.
Because the Grant who started YouTube did not know what good quality videos was until I put out so many.
Yep.
And I always say, go that way. So if it's time for me to make a video and I've got everything I need, I just record the video. Bam. Sometimes it's one take. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes to get going because I'm stuttering with the intro. I may say something and then I can just talk for hours about that. And that's not how I want my videos to be. I want my videos to be short, concise, to the point, but I'm also getting across what I need to make the audience entertained and informed. But if you don't have anything to post, you can make just random videos. And what I've learned is that's going to help you become a better speaker, and that's going to help you on the mic. And I always say just post, put that content out there, and you're going to get better.
Yeah. It's the reps, right? It's the
Gotta
reps.
get the reps. I agree. It's 100% the reps.
Because until like before I started other shows, right? It was one of the advice I got, like looking it up, is like record 5 shows before you post, right? So like it's getting those reps in. If you're doing podcasts, if you're doing like live reactions or TikToks or green screen, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this person said this, very different. Just do that. And you'll learn, and you'll go back and self-critique and self-edit on a different way. But like when you're doing podcasts, it's like record 5, get comfortable, 1 in front of the camera, 2 in front of a mic, because a lot of people think they can do it. And I'm not saying I'm the best at it. Like there's still work on, but it's like till you're doing it and you're putting yourself out there, then you see like a negative comment, hey man, that was a really stupid take, Benny. You know, and then like don't let that get you down. But it's like getting those reps in. It was like, all right, I feel comfortable. The way you see me here, the ways you see me out in person and out in public. So it's one of those where it's like you got to get those reps in and just feel comfortable. Like, but again, like there's no replacing that. There's no replacing the reps. You're not, like if you're not comfortable reading off a screen, you know what I'm saying, and not good at that, maybe don't do that. Have a couple notes, index cards, and just like kind of freestyle it like you're giving a speech and speech class, or you know what I'm saying, just figuring out what your strengths are. Don't look at how other people do it, because it goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning. Be your authentic self. Because if you're not your authentic self, like you said, you're gonna get exposed and you're gonna lose love for it. Because if you're not being real, like you're gonna lose it. Like if I'm on here talking on some other shit that I don't know nothing about, I got 4 episodes for you, champ. Like,
Hey,
I
didn't have some secret YouTube channels. Nobody, like a lot of some people in the Miami Hurricane fan base may have seen it. I think some people coming, but I've tried to do movies, and I'm like, it's just not the same fire.
No,
He's like,
no.
it's not the same at all. So
No,
I 100% agree with you on that.
I could like text about movies, like, yo, man, check, but like I can't do like a show about it. Like I try to do it. I actually try to do it with my best friend, man. And I was like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm trying to like be smart about it. I was like, oh man, I really like that. Like they had this shot here and all that. I was like, that's cool when I'm on the couch with my wife and we had those back and forth. But like, I don't know. I've never directed. I don't know what that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what these references are. Like I stick to my strengths and I stick to that. But yeah, like I've had multiple pods, like and multiple secret YouTubes where I was like, I don't know why I chose to do that.
Yeah.
But it's just finding the reps, man. All right. Last one. Well, second to last one. What's next for your brand? Where you headed with the channel? What you doing next, man?
The big thing right now is to become a better speaker. I talked about that, but to be consistent. Anybody out there who wants to be a content creator, learn from me. If it's something you really love, just stick with doing it. Because a big mistake I made is I said, well, I see this type of niche is making more money. So, you know, I want to do that. Or I see this is popping right now. I want to do that. You know yourself. You know what you want to create content around it. Do it and keep on putting the reps in. And what is up for me is me just being everywhere. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram now. I'm on Facebook now. And what's so crazy is I used to say, who's going to watch me on Facebook? I go to the game. A lot of people are saying, hey, man, I saw your Facebook post. I'm like, I've been on YouTube forever, and more people are coming to me about. So that's my goal, and what you can learn from my goals and what I've done is that be consistent and try all the platforms if you can spread yourself that thin. I figured a way where I can do that, so I've been able to do that. Never think you're too good for a platform, because that was my mistakes, and I've made a lot of mistakes. Anybody listen to this, I just don't want you to make the same ones.
Yeah, I'm learning stuff in this conversation because we do not have a Facebook.
Get you a Facebook, Benny. I'm telling you, Benny, get you a Facebook right now. As soon as we get done.
As soon as we get out of here, we have about to kick off. You heard Facebook page, man.
Do it, brother. Do it.
Yeah, be out there, man. Because you got to put yourself out there. You create. You want people to see your art, because there is the art to this, right? Like there is. You took the time.
And we're making money.
Yeah.
I never knew. So this is probably some money that I missed out on. I never knew on Facebook that once you get monetized on Facebook, which it took me, I would say 4 or 5 months, that I get monetized from just posts I make. So if I say Grant is happy today, and for some reason that pops off, you're making money from that.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Then yes.
See, that stuff that people, and I was always thinking I'm too good. If you're serious about content creation, look into the platform, look into the monetization, look into what's going on, and you never know where it could be. And then it's great for discovery as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they find that, then they'll find your TikTok, they'll find this, and then you have multiple followers against multiple platforms. G, I really appreciated the conversation. I had no idea you were for Arkansas, man. I learned that too.
A lot of people don't. I met a lot of people that was like, man, I thought you was from Florida. I'm like, no, I've been, I got an Arkansas medal right up there. But Arkansas, born and raised, and just the Arkansas kid who fell in love with the Miami Hurricane fans. And I found a Twitter, man. I want to give a special shout out to people on Twitter, because that's really what started me from even getting on social media and talking Miami Hurricane, was how strong the fan base was on Twitter. So shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah, man. G, appreciate you, man. Look, I'll say it on every platform I'm on. Whenever you come on, you heard your family. Whenever you want to jump back on to talk about anything, everything, hit me up, man. We'll have you on any show. What's your Kane story? Joe's kicking off something else, or you heard, wherever you want to do, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for your time, man. We're going to hit end here for y'all, but me and G going to chop it up because I got some more questions, man. Thank you, G. Appreciate you, man. Be safe and God bless.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.